In the previous lesson, we noticed that quite a lot of time series data has got irregularities. What we're going to do this time is work out how to smooth out some of those irregularities by finding smoothing means, and I'll explain what that all means. So there's your learning intention. Can you smooth out the data in a time series plot using moving means? Mean as in average. In the next exercise, we will be looking at a slightly more complicated process involving moving medians. We already have had a look at finding an underlying pattern in some data by using linear regression to find the equation of the straight line. So this is another technique, smoothing means, and later we'll be looking at smoothing medians. So there are various kinds of smoothing means. We'll have 3 mean, 5 mean, 7 mean, and later we'll look at 2 and 4 mean smoothing. Starting with 3, so what we do is we take the data points, the first 3 points, then the second, third, fourth point, and then the third, fourth, fifth point, and so on, and go through the data. So the first 3 points here are January, February, and March. Taking those 3 values, they have an average of 9. So above February, which is the middle of the 3, we plot a 9. Above March, we plot a 7.5 because that's the average of February, March, and April. Above April, which is the middle of March, April, and May, we find the average of those 3 numbers and get a number 11. And there we go. We're starting to see the underlying pattern using 3 mean smoothing. And there's the rest of the data points. A bit flatter, taken out the big bumps, big peaks and big troughs. The data has been ironed out, so to speak. If you join the dots up, that's what you get. And if you want to look at the original, there we go. It's also got on the screen the mathematics, if you like. The smooth value for y2 is y1 plus y2 plus y3. Add it all up, divide by 3. We do the same with 5 mean smoothing, so we take the first 5 points. The middle month of January, February, March, April, May is March, so above March we put the average of those 5 numbers. Then we go February, March, April, May, June, and put in a number above April and go all the way through. That is 5 mean smoothing, which produced an even flatter line than 3. Guess what 7 will look like? You might be surprised, it looks like that. Well, there you go. You can do that if you want, or if you're asked to. So you might get a question like this. The table below gives the temperature in degrees Celsius for each day of a week, and they want you to find the 3 mean smooth temperature for Tuesday. Well, Tuesday is the middle of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so add up those 3 numbers and divide by 3 and you'll get 23.1. The 5 mean smooth temperature for Thursday. Well, Thursday is in the middle of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So those are the 5 numbers we find. We get a number of 18.4. That's fine for odd numbers, 3, 5, and 7, because it's easier to know where the middle number is. But what about 2 and 4 and 6? There is no middle number of 2 numbers. It's halfway between the 2. Where are you going to plot it? This is how you do it. If we're doing 2 mean smoothing, you pick the point that you want to center, which is in this case point 2. Point 2, you take the average of point 2 and the one before it. And then you take the average of point 2 and the one after it. Get 2 new numbers and average your 2 averages. So in this case, firstly we find the average of 18.1 and 24.8. Then we find the average of 24.8, 26.4. And then the average of those averages is the 2 mean smooth center for the second data point. You can do it with 4 if you keep your wits about you. Let's say we want to do the third of those 5 points on the table on the right there, 13.9. So you take, firstly, you want to do 4 altogether, so you want 2 before and 1 after. Add up 4 numbers and divide by 4. And then for the second mean, you take 1 before and 2 after. You can see where they come from, get a new number of 16.8, and then those 2 numbers get averaged together to produce 18.125, which is the 4 mean smooth center for 13.9. And if you were doing that all the way along the table, you then have to move along to the next one. So just looking at that in a bit more detail, this is a question from the exercise. We have the table below, gives the temperature in degrees Celsius of the weather station. And they say, what is the 3 mean smooth temperature for Wednesday? Well, 3, so we want to find the average of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Like that. Add them up. 33.5, 21.18.1, 12, 9, 10. That divides by 3. 4.4. So if I've done it right, that is the answer there. 2 mean smooth temperature with centering for Tuesday is closest to which of these? So take Tuesday within 2. So first of all, we want the first 2, which is 31.2. And then we want, that's Monday, Tuesday, then we want Tuesday, Wednesday, which is those 2, gives you a new average. The average of those 2 averages is 29.375, which is pretty close to number D there. And there you have what you hope you have achieved, which is you can smooth out the data in the time series plot using moving means. We'd like you to now work through exercise 7b, questions 1 to 9, page 279 as a minimum, and questions 10 and 11 can be used as extension work. Thank you very much.